Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. This is Mark from Mark Reads Good. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my to-be-read list for the summertime. We're in the month of June, so I've already started reading those books. I'm going to share what books I'm reading this month. I'm going to share with you the books I'm reading in July, and I'm going to share with you the books I'm going to be reading in August. Typically, I don't like to be pinned down in what I'm reading. I like the freedom of choice in the moment when I go to my bookshelf and, I'm about to select the next book. I like the freedom to just see where the wind takes me, where the wind pushes me, and just pick a book at random. I like that, but this is going to force me to stick to these books, so I hope you appreciate that. Honestly, the only time I like to be pinned down is in the cold, hard mats of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu by big, strong, handsome men. Been doing that for about 6.5 years. I'm a weapon. All jokes aside, I hope that you enjoy this. I hope that you will read these books along with me, and that when I release each individual book summary, you'll be able to, leave a comment and tell me what you think about these books. That's the hope. Okay, first up, I have Ring Shout by Djèlí Clark. It is a book about women that are hunting demons that have infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan. What's not to like about that idea? I'm really excited to get into this book and see what Clark is able to do with this crazy concept. The idea of demon hunters, Ku Klux Klan, evil group in American history facing, women that are going to bring them to their, comeuppance, get some, justice. Really excited about that idea. Let's see where this book takes me. Djèlí Clark's Ring Shout, reading in the month of June. Okay, next up in the month of June, I have William Golding's The Inheritors. William Golding is one of these authors that when I was in sophomore in high school, maybe, I read Lord of the Flies, and it's been one of these books that have stuck with me all of these years. I really liked that book. I thought it was really cool and clever, how it kind of painted some of these societal things that occur when human beings are put in these pressure cooker situations. And I've wondered, what else did William Golding write? Lord of the Flies is the only book of his that I really know. So I went online, I searched what else William Golding wrote. I found this book that is about Homo sapiens and Neanderthals, kind of in the struggle to survive, and it's during the time period where Homo sapiens become the dominant species on Earth. Let's go. I'm all for that. Hopefully it lives up to the level of appreciation, if you will, that I have for Lord of the Flies. Okay, last book for the month of June. Angel Down by Daniel Kraus. I found out about this book because I was perusing the Pulitzer Prize winners in 2025, and this book jumped out at me. Angel Down is about an angel that is shot down over no man's land during World War I. No man's land is where trench warfare was just rampant, and it's just brutal. Some of the images and stories from history about what occurred in these trench warfare type of situations is terrifying. So this angel is shot down, and soldiers are sent on a rescue mission to go save the angel. I love that idea. I think there's going to be some really deep philosophical questions that are asked. That's my hope. I haven't read too much about this book. I'm just kind of going into it blind, just based off of the cover, based off of what I read on the back of the book. But I have really high hopes for this book. Daniel Kraus also wrote this book called Whalefall, I think. Whalefall? That sounds right. Someone gets eaten by a whale, or they're consumed by a whale. It sounds like Jonah and the Whale type of situation, but maybe not Jonah and the Whale type of situation. I don't know. That book sounds cool too. Maybe I'll read that one after I'm done with this. I have high hopes for Daniel Kraus. Let's get into the month of July. Okay, first book in the month of July is going to be No Longer Human. I don't really know too much about this book. I just know that one of the YouTube channels I follow, Jared Henderson, he had said that this was his favorite book, I think, from last year, or one of his favorite books from last year. It seems like it's about a character that is suffering from depression and maybe some type of detachment disorder. And yeah, I trust Jared Henderson. He's recommended a lot of really deep philosophical books that I've read, and they all have been home run hitters. Absolutely amazing books. So I'm hoping that this book lives up to, the reputation he has built with me, that he just recommends really, really high quality books. That is going to be No Longer Human. I think it's Osamu Dazai is how you say the last name of this person that wrote this book. Yeah. Really excited to read this book. Okay, the time has come. When I am in the middle of a trilogy or a series of books and I'm falling in love with the characters, the story, or some of the themes that are occurring in the book, it really bums me out that it's coming to an end, and that is going to be the case with Cormac McCarthy's Cities of the Plain. I read All the Pretty Horses, probably one of my favorite books. The Crossing, the second book in the series, probably one of my favorite books. And I can only imagine that this book is going to be right up there with them. It makes me a little sad because it means that the Border Trilogy is going to be over for me after I finish this book, but the time has come. The sun is out here in Oregon. My hammock is waiting for me, and I'll be sitting in that hammock reading this book, probably very somber that this story is coming to an end. Cities of the Plain by Cormac McCarthy. We're coming July. All right, if Cities of the Plain is bringing a series to an end, Mercy of Gods by James S.A. Corey is bringing a new series to life for me. James S.A. Corey famously wrote the Expanse series, one of my favorite science fiction series of all time. At some point in time, I do need to do a long video about each and every one of those books. They hold a very special place in my heart. I'm really excited to read The Mercy of Gods and get into this new universe that James S.A. Corey is writing. I'm sure it's going to be a 10 out of 10 absolute banger. All right, when you live in the Pacific Northwest and you have the ability to go to Powell's and just walk around and look at books, one of the best things about this bookstore is that employees kind of put their recommendations on certain books and they say, hey, you got to read this. They put a little blurb there. That's how I found out about this book, Fever House by Keith Rosson. This book was recommended by one of the employees at Powell's. It's a book about a guy that's kind of like, I don't know what you would call him, like a ruffian, I guess, going to this house to collect a debt. And when he goes to collect a debt, he finds a severed hand inside of a refrigerator, and that severed hand has some type of ability to create chaos and wreak havoc. It's like a vessel of evil. I just like that idea. Look at the cover. It's got one of like a demon's hand doing that. That's cool. Super badass. Really excited to read this book. Again, the fact that Powell's has this thing that they do where they just allow employees to recommend books they like. Huge fan of that. Look at that too. This book's like already broken in. So that's some pretty good book flop right there. Really excited to read this one. All right, the next book I'm going to be reading in August. I'm reading this book for one reason and one reason only. My older brother, Jared, he's always begging me. The guy calls me. He goes, Mark, please, you got to read Haruki Murakami. He sends me emails. He sends me letters in the mail, and they're all saying the same thing. Please, please, you got to read this book. And just to appease him, I'm going to be reading Haruki Murakami's Hear the Wind. I've heard that Haruki Murakami is a great author. I think I've seen some of his books. Kafka by the Shore is one of the ones that rings a bell that I remember. But I always like, whenever I haven't read an author yet, I try to pick like their shortest work, see what they're all about, see if I like their writing style, see if I like some of the themes they tackle, and if I like it, then I go on to one of their longer works. And yeah, that's my plan here. So I'm doing what my older brother has begged me. Again, he's begged and pleaded, groveled, if you will, that I would please read this book. And so I'm going to. Jared, this one's for you. I love you, buddy. All right, this next book. I have a friend. I don't know that friend's name. He's an online friend. I don't know his name. I don't want to know his name, but I talk to him every day, and he's always ranting and raving about this book, East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I've read a John Steinbeck book before. It is, what was it? To a God Unknown by John Steinbeck. I've read that book. I love that book. Everything about that book. It was great. And so I'm excited to read East of Eden. I've heard so many good things about this book and John Steinbeck in general. I'm familiar with his work, and I'm excited to kind of go into the library of his and see what else he has to go say about the world. Just a comment. This is a pet peeve of mine. Why do people do this? You see, like, this isn't a sticker. This is just a coming to Netflix soon thing that they've printed on this beautiful book. They just muck it up with this. Why do they do that? They shouldn't do that. Stop doing that, book publishers. Nobody likes this. And if you do like this, tell me in the comments, unfollow me. No one should like this. This is terrible. This is the last book I'm reading in the month of August. So there's 9 books, 3 in every month. I hope that some of these books will pique your interest and you will read along with me. Like I said, every single one of these books, I'm going to do an individual book review of. I'm going to spend the time, I'm going to do the work, and I'm going to kind of give you my 2 cents about what I think in detail about each of these books. All right, as always, I hope that you enjoy these books. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Until next time, I will miss you so much. This has been Mark from Mark Reads Good. You take care.